Hey there and welcome to Bottega Zero Waste. My name is Marta and in today's video I want to share with you the story of Bottega Zero Waste, my personal zero waste journey. Also make sure you stick with me until the end because I will share with you a little tour of my place and my kitchen and all my cupboards where I create all of my recipes, formulations and products. It all started when I moved to London after my graduation. So I'm originally from Italy and I moved from Venice where I was studying, majoring in Chinese language, and I moved to London to continue my studies. So my boyfriend and I moved together to this new place in London and we had to choose how to furnish it. So we went together to IKEA to buy some furniture and some containers. And I remember very clearly the moment where I took all the previous food I had from a previous house we were moving from, and especially pasta, because as an Italian I eat quite a lot of pasta, and I wanted to place this pasta into these new IKEA containers. And just the sheer amount of plastic I find myself surrounded by in this tiny kitchen, it was absolutely mind-blowing. It's interesting, like only when you actually find yourself with these huge amounts of plastics with you, only then you realize how much plastic you consume. Whereas when you actually consume products a little by little, then you probably don't even realize how much waste you're producing. At the same time, I think this is what's great in the zero waste philosophy. When you actually start with small steps, small actions, when you start consuming less, a little by little, at the same time, perhaps you don't realize straight away, but actually you're making a huge difference and a huge positive impact. Similarly, I had to tidy the new bathroom, and this was a tiny sized bathroom, so I didn't have that much cupboard space as I used to have in the previous places where I lived. And I had brought with me all this huge box full of cosmetic products, beauty products, all these different shampoos, everything packaged in plastics, cotton buds, like the worst that you can imagine really in terms of waste. And again, I find myself thinking, okay, I don't even have the space where I need to put all this stuff. And do I really need all of this stuff? I suddenly realized that my life was filled with plastic. So I started to do some research. What could I do to really lower my impact? By doing a basic search on Google, one of the first swap I saw people were doing was using a soap bar. And as I'm naturally a curious person, I asked myself, wait a second, I don't even know how soap is made. How is it possible? Soap, something so simple. I've used it so many times in my life. I don't have the slightest idea of how a soap is made. So naturally, I started doing research and I bumped on a few soap making videos, especially by this lady in Canada. Her name is Alain and she runs her own studio where she produces huge amounts of soap. And I literally got hooked because she wouldn't give you the recipes, but she would show you the exact steps and kind of her process. And just seeing her mixing all these ingredients and turning these ingredients into soap, for me was like pure magic. I started to do research on how I could try to make soap myself, and I really wanted to try a small batch first, just because I wasn't too confident. I had discovered you had to handle caustic ingredients like sodium hydroxide or lye, and the only problem is that it wasn't that easy to find small batches, recipes on the internet. Plus basically 90%, if not more, of the recipes I found online contained palm oil, which I knew was quite a controversial ingredient and I didn't really feel comfortable using it in my soaps. Finally, after a lot of research, I find this recipe from a guy on the internet. The problem is that I did not realize that the recipe was actually for over 2 kilos, I think like 3 kilos of soap. So I just get all my ingredients. It was, I think, just 2 ingredients. I put them together and I'm like, it looks like it's a big quantity. And yes, so the first time I made soap, basically I made almost 3 kilos of soap. The result was not bad, and I just really got so passionate about it. I enjoyed the process so much that from that moment I never stopped. After that, I've decided to kind of share my knowledge with other people. The point is that I was developing all of these recipes and all of these beautiful naturally colored soaps, and I was sharing them on Instagram, and so many people were so curious and were asking me, can you please share a recipe? I'd love to try, and were asking questions about the soaps that I made, and it made me realize how much there was a huge need from this community we're in, the zero waste community, of people to really learn a skill and, you know, feel empowered to be able to produce their own beauty products, like in this case soap. And so I decided to share what I had learned over the past of many months through workshops, both physical and online workshops, which I still hold, and also through online courses. I also decided I wanted to share my products, my creations, by selling the products I had made on my e-shop, and I started looking at the branding for Bottega Zero Waste and what and how I could design and produce the packaging for the soap bars, and I found one of my favorite ethical illustrators. His name is Stingvi. He's an illustrator from Iceland, and he does all of these amazing drawings where he basically fights for animals' rights, and he can share his activism through his beautiful imagery. So I think he was the perfect person for me to work with, because I really wanted my brand to also showcase what my ideals were, and our missions were very much aligned. After a few months of product testings and safety assessments and product design and manufacturing, I was finally ready to open the shop in January 2019. But enough of me talking. As promised, I want to show you a little tour of my place where I produce all of my content, all of my products, all of my recipe formulations, and how I store my ingredients, and hopefully you will find this interesting. And also at the end of the video, let me know. I would love to hear what your zero waste journey is, and perhaps if you share the same passion for creating products, you know, how does your kitchen look like? Just, you know, share your experience and ideas down below. Okay, so here we are. This is the hallway that gets you to the actual living room, and I've got this plant right here, which I actually saved from a party where they were gonna like throw it away, and I basically put it in my bike's basket and brought it home. That was fun. Going back to the living room. So this is the living room. So it's a nice, we've got a lot of light, which is great, especially because living in London, let's say you don't always get all this light or sunny days. And as you can see right here, I have my tripod. I don't always keep it here, but I was recording the first half of this video this morning. I record the video, I would just sit in front of the our little chimney. So we just put like a little stool, and I really like the background, which is normally just that plant. And as you can see already from the mirror, you can see all of the soaps and shampoo bars from the soap library, which I'm gonna show you in a moment. So over here is the main window where I shoot all of the photos. So got a lot of amazing natural light. And there we go, this is a soap library. So here's a table where I get most of the work done, or I like to think so. And my, my lovely MacBook is pretty much everything that I need when I'm doing offline work. And here's a soap library. So I've got a stock of soaps. You can see some are labeled, some are curing, like the lavender ones, and the shampoo bars up there. And yeah, I do not have a full stock at the moment, so I'm just stocking up. That's why the library looks a little bit empty. Down here I've got some extra cabinets where I normally keep stuff like my soap cutters and that box is the box with soap scraps. I've got a bunch of stick blenders that I use for my soap making workshops. Also like a electric stove and a big scale, which I absolutely love. It helps me weigh like very high quantities. Down here I have also got a whole lot of other tools. This is basically the main ingredients section, especially for ingredients that I use for my workshops. That's why I have so many jars. It's because I have to divide each ingredient into each little jar so that people can share them on the working table. And also I've got some nice infusions over there, and I keep them in the dark. So over here is the kitchen where all of the recipes and products are made, and this is my ingredients cupboard, which I'm super proud of because finally I got to tidy up. And yeah, there's a bit of everything. A lot of the products I have come in bulk, so then I just put them into little jars, and some of them, like some specific oils, already come in really nice handy jars. Over here I've also created a section for natural cleaning, so you will find things like citric acid, soap nut powder, and also some handy bottles. This one is from Cleaning Essentials, and this is gifted to me by them. And then you just follow the directions. For example, if you want to make heavy duty cleaning spray, then you just follow the steps, like add that much witch hazel, vinegar, cast-iron soap, etc. So one of the goals for this year is to really get into natural cleaning, make most of my products at home. Down here in the kitchen I keep molds and tools like these ones I like to use to make tests because they're small, so they're quite handy. And down here I've got a huge stock of cocoa butter and shea butter, which I get in bulk from the soapery, and they're so nice and they send it in paper. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I'll be sharing more in the upcoming video, which is going to be all about zero waste workshops. So I'll be taking you with me in the behind the scenes of the making of a workshop. To make sure you're not missing any of the upcoming content, make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that as soon as a new video is uploaded, you're notified. You can also follow me on Instagram at Bottega Zero Waste, where I share with you daily content, tips and recipes on zero waste living. I take you with me on the behind the scenes of the making all of my products, and you can follow me on my day-to-day zero waste journey.